Hello, Libra. Welcome to your April 2020 forecast. I have Apollo here sending some love to all of you and to kind of calm us all down. He's a great, beautiful Zen force that I think we all need right now. I'm going to put him down now, though, because he wants to chill out. Welcome, everybody. If you're brand new, I'd like to take a moment just to introduce myself, and then we'll talk a little bit about what we're going to do today, okay? My name is Nicholas Ashbaugh. Every month, I show up to give you a blueprint of what's available to you as far as opportunities and challenges. I'll be reading for the month of April, but we're definitely going to be looking at what's going on in the world right now, especially when we go into the meditation. And I saw earlier on in chat some of you mentioning that you were looking for a little bit of solace, and I will help you with that today. I actually think that now more than ever, it's important to have routines and things that you can count on. So I will be showing up over the next couple of weeks here, both for my readings, and I'm also going to be doing some impromptu meditations. So if you haven't yet subscribed and clicked the little bell icon, now's a good time, because just like I had done earlier, I think on Saturday, I'll be doing some smaller ones, helping with different things. I've been wanting to do a meditation series. I think right now, when a lot of people are working from home or unable to kind of do all their activities, it's a good time to do that. So definitely subscribe and opt in, and you'll be part of that. Let's talk about what we're doing today. So I introduced myself. I just want to talk about how this is organized. I like to begin everything with channeled information, and that's when I connect with my guides, I select a deck of cards, and I just meditate and tune into the sign. So I have some information and some symbols and things that I want to talk about, and I'll do that first. Then I like to go into the Celtic Cross, looking at, again, any of the highlights, any of the challenges, also things that may come through that could surprise you. So that it's probably what everybody really enjoys. Then I like to go into health, wealth, love, and destiny, looking at pivotal parts of our life that I know that it's important to know about, not just now, but always. Afterwards, we're going to be focusing on opportunities for renewal, but I also want to help ease some of the discomfort and some of the sort of situations that are going on with all of you where you're trying to kind of feel like you can get anchored. So I'm going to try to ground all of us and then do some healing as well in that latter portion. So stick around. I think today, especially meditation, will be very helpful. Everything that you see today, it can be used for your sun, your rising, and your moon sign. You can watch on behalf of someone else if you know their birthday. And one other thing I'd like to mention here is I welcome chat, especially when it's relevant to what's going on. But I don't do Q&A. I don't do pick a card. This is going to be a channeled message and psychic guidance coming through. So that takes me out of my my sort of focal point. But if you'd like to say that you appreciate what you see, please do. You can use stickers using this super chat icon, and you can just send a little sticker of a unicorn or a rainbow or whatever and say that you like that. That supports new decks of cards. I'm using one here today, and actually I'm using two. These are both new, and I purchased them with all the folks that are members and everyone that contributes. So thank you if you'd like to do that. I will recognize you in the videos live in the comments section afterwards. Special thanks to Ryan and Maria, who are helping to keep everything organized, answer any questions while I'm talking. They're amazing, and I appreciate their presence as well. I'll go into information on how you can join me on social media, book an appointment, etc. at the end. But we have a lot to talk about today, so I want to get straight into the reading. And let's get into what I saw when I started to meditate for Libra. The first thing was beautiful. As I closed my eyes, it was sort of like a night scene that was it was coming through for me. And I focused, my third eye connected with, I think it's Polaris, but like the North Star. A beautiful bright light in the night shining out like a beacon. And for me, I think that a lot of you are going to be at a point possibly when others are looking to you for support, when you might also be looking for that yourself, or there may be some intuitive guidance that's coming through. I know that my intuition was really sharp during the retrograde period. I also feel a heightened intuition right now. So I think that sometimes when things are when you're in an unknown zone, whether I talked yesterday to the previous sign about, remembering your firsts, whether it's like a first date, first day of school, whatever, you have the butterflies. Whenever you're put into a zone when you're kind of in the unknown, all of a sudden heightened energy, heightened awareness is coming through. So for you, tune into your North Star. That's going to be your ascended self, your intuition, definitely your third eye opening up. You can focus on that a little bit in a meditation. Call on your angels, your guides, your ascended masters to help during this period. And don't be surprised if there's an opportunity for you to be a mentor, many of you. Some people may come to you and say, I'd like to do better in this particular area. I trust you. I need your help. Are you willing to do that? So I think that that's going to be really great. And the other thing with this is don't be afraid to get out into nature. So, you know, if you have a backyard, or if you have even just a patio or like a balcony like I do, just go out there a little bit, connect with something, whether it's the birds or the plants or a tree. I think it's really important now to do that. And I'm literally looking at the stars here in my meditation. So I think that, you know, don't be afraid to connect to something bigger, brighter, and sometimes more stable than everything that's going on here. So guidance is key. Tuning into yours, tuning into your higher self, maybe helping people around you. Now, this doesn't surprise me that I was also feeling an activation right around the throat. So for many of you, you have a chance this month to speak up. I have used your voice, but this could be verbal, nonverbal. This could be a creative sort of energy coming through for those of you that are artists. But I think this month, it's really important to you, again, we're reading for April, to look at how you can make a difference with your point of view, with your insights. And I would say this is also important. If there's something going on and it doesn't feel right, if it's like, if you feel like you need to change or shift something, this is about speaking up. So the Queen or King of Swords can go upright or reversed. And this might be using the reversal to go straight to the point sometimes. And I think that's kind of what we're seeing here is if there's something that needs to be shifted or changed, this is definitely a month of change. So I was actually seeing the alignment on a car here. That's how my guides were showing it to me. So that means that instead of like a full tower or a death card type sort of symbology, it feels like some of you just need to kind of get a little closer to being on track. So maybe something in your thought process, some habit that you're doing, people around you could just kind of be pulling you off path a little bit. So spiritually realign to what's important to you, and things will start to go better. You're going to be more efficient. I am so not technically inclined when it comes to a car. When computer, sure, I know it inside out, but a car, all that I remember from like my dad, he was a little bit of a car aficionado. But when you do realign it, I believe you get better mileage. It's better for the car. And for this, when we're thinking of a spiritual realignment, I think it really is making sure that you're not wasting time and energy getting pulled in a direction that is slowing down your overall speed and progress. So just a quick summary again, tuning into your higher self, to your North Star, being a guide and a sort of mentor for others, or seeking out that mentorship and guidance. Speaking up if there's something that you need to say, using your creativity and your sort of inventive side to somehow make a difference with your vision or your voice, and realign. And I think a lot of us now being forced to sort of stop our old habits, it's actually kind of a blessing from the universe, because we get time to be kind of in our own space, away from people, and really kind of get back to the basics. And that's why, again, I've been kind of called to do some meditations over the next 2 weeks. I know a lot of cities, both in Europe and North America, are limiting public access. And so rather than panicking, we're going to go into a place of learning, meditating, and supporting one another. All right. So with that being said, let's go ahead and take a look at the cards and see what messages are coming through for the month ahead. I like to remain quiet at this point because I need to observe the cards, their placements. I also get information while I do this. So be patient with me. And at the end, I'll pull up the camera. We'll talk about everything that's coming through. And if you need any sort of support, Apollo's in the background holding space as well. Oh my God. Okay. We got the North Star. Okay, everybody, welcome back. Let me just turn the camera up here so you can see everything. All right, I did an audible, oh my goodness, here, because we got the North Star. So I couldn't remember if it was Polaris here, but the message on this one I really like, which says, flip your inner light switch. And notice all of the sort of clouds and uncertainty and fog around this. And then we have that bright light. And that's what I was being shown by my guides, was a bright star. So Polaris, or the North Star. I think what's important right now is to keep a sense of focus, calm, purpose, intention, and I'll help you with that. And I think this is part of what we're going to do in the meditation, is go into the North Star. And one other thing here is, if there's anyone in your life that tends to sort of create a sense of havoc or disorder, I think it's important for you to kind of shift away from that as well. Self-preservation is going to be key, and you can't help people sometimes if they're in that space. And so that's a good place to distance yourself. And you can even use social distancing as an excuse for that. Let's go to the center here. We have the Lovers. So one of the biggest blessings right now, as the world is forced to kind of slow down, and by April, some of this hopefully is shifting, but we'll see here, because I see the Devil card here in the ego. So some things are out of control or out of our control, but there's a lot that we can control. So what's nice about this with the Lovers is spending time with the people that you care about. So for those of you that might have college-age children that came home unexpectedly, or you are a dad or a mom that works and now suddenly you get to sort of spend time with your family. What an amazing blessing. Sure, you may drive each other crazy a little bit, but this doesn't happen that often. And if you look at this, I was talking to a sign the other day, kind of like as an adventure. When I was a kid, I grew up on the East Coast. I kind of split times between the Western states initially, and then I went to the East Coast. But I lived in very snowy and then very icy states. And some of them weren't prepared for the snow. So we would get days off, and as a kid, if it got too dangerous, like a snow day. And I used to look forward to it. It didn't happen all the time. It didn't happen every year. But if you had 2 or 3 days where you just had a change of schedule, all of a sudden you got to kind of reconnect with different parts of yourself that didn't involve work or coworkers or, the sort of status quo. This is the universe trying to kind of slow the frequency down here a little bit so people can take stock of what's important. So love the people around you. Cherish this extra time that you're getting with them. If you are single and looking, single and happy, this card indicates that, first of all, you're going to be focusing on taking care of yourself, loving yourself, but there's going to be chances after all of this is said and done for you to be in a place where you're going to be able to attract better relationships. We have the 10 of Cups on this. Again, this is family, the Lovers and family. So this is really about being able to connect with friends, because to me, as you get older, not only because you have a choice, like chosen family, you get to choose who you want to be in your sort of circle, but also just because of life. Parents get older and pass on. People around you move further away. This could be your physical family, your neighbors, your chosen family, your dog. It could be all of the above. But the key and the most important thing right now is love who you are, love who you're with, and really cherish and create more of these friendships over the course of April and the rest of this year, because we're looking at trends not just for this month, but that are important to the sign in general. So this is a time for relationships to be something that you put energy and effort into. We're also looking at, for like the whole year, if you've felt like it's just been a sort of hermit phase that you've been in for a while, I feel like it or not, there's going to be a shift with that. So If you're in a relationship, I just see that your social sphere will be opening up over the course of this year. Because of all the disruptions, some of this reading could actually be stretched out a little bit because, like I said, time is slowing down and things are slowing down. But in a normal situation, you would be able to meet people. So once this sort of lockdown stops, I feel like there's going to be a reemergence of friends and connections and an opportunity for new love or a deepening. Those of you that do have a relationship already are going to be able to kind of go deeper and heal. Looking at deep past, which again, for some of us actually happens as we're doing this reading because it's, it's done a little bit before the month. We have Ace of Pentacles in reverse, makes perfect sense with what's going on. This is a fear over resources and abundance. You should listen to my meditation. I kind of touched on that, but we'll also do a little bit here today to kind of ease those fears. The reason I think it's important to do that is with the High Priestess energy coming through, your thoughts are very powerful and they manifest. So why manifest fear and uncertainty when you could start to manifest positive growth, shifting and changing? As I was alluding to in the channeled message, I think that times of changing, shifting, fear, also a time when quite literally the veil is being lifted because some souls are passing. We have heightened intuition right now. Use it. It's good. It's going to give you insights into this North Star. Also has to do with your compass, your internal compass. So looking at your life, are you happy with what you've created? If you're not, what do you want to do instead? Can you get closer to that path? This is leading you to that path. So some of you now, it's kind of yesterday, I think it was in the health area. There was a card called Tsunami for the previous sign. And it's a wake-up card. This one we have a grounding card. Literally, it's the cover for this particular deck, but it's reversed and it's showing like our world's turned upside down. The interesting thing with this tree is you see that there's just as much structure beneath the surface as there is above it. And it's like an iceberg. I think right now is a revelation period where we can start to see what we need to see. And so things are upended. You get to look at all of the inner workings of your life and you get to figure out what you want. And that's what we see here with Temperance. It's interesting that this particular Temperance, you see the balance. I think it's perfect for Libra. Do you feel like things are in balance? If they're not, what can you do to get there? Remember that change happens one step at a time. One of my favorite things with Temperance is that it's usually a woman, but she has 1 foot in the water, 1 foot on the ground. This one hasn't quite taken that step yet into the water. I would say for you, it feels like there's an opportunity to get a little bit I guess, closer to what it is you're trying to accomplish. Even if that means, for those of you that are like creative people, getting out the canvas, painting, starting to write, starting to, pick up the phone and talk about future business opportunities, even if things have slowed down right now, this is a chance for you to make the plans because you don't always get that time. Usually you're so busy in commuting and working and worrying about things. Now you have that time to dream. And that's that's a wonderful thing that you can do with dreams. First, you have to sort of see it, then you can execute it. So use this time to do that. I mentioned this in the previous sign. This is not the Sun and Moon deck. This is just, it's a new deck, Anake, I think is the name of it. But look what we have. We have either 1 lunar cycle or it could be also construed as maybe 3 or 4 moons. So I think that we're in a period right now of 3 to 4 months of changing, shifting, and resetting. And this is a realignment. And if we view it as a realignment, it's not so scary. Each of us are going to be experiencing it to differing degrees. But after that 2 to 3 month period or up to 4 month period is done, I feel like you're going to be in a better place. And it all depends on, if you look at it as an opportunity, it'll be great. Whenever I get these pentacle cards, anything in the ace or the court cards and the reversed has to do with investing in yourself. So this is meant to be introspective. It's meant to be a little bit self-based. I won't use selfish, but you're supposed to work on yourself and heal things in your life. Rest. Take care of yourself. Slow the thing, slow the pace down, slow the wheels down. And I think that's the most important thing. So we have 4 of Swords. Rest will help you avoid the other connotation of 4 of Swords, which can be sickness. You don't want that. There are a few cards that can show sickness or passage, transition. It's the 4 of Swords, it's the 6 of Swords, it's death, can even be the Fool or the World card. So we've got this as a gentle warning to take it easy, slow it down, don't do silly things, and you're going to be fine. It's about common sense. It was interesting, and I'm so happy that our city stopped sort of like public meetings, because I was out the other day and people were hanging out at bars for like St. Patrick's Day celebrations. No, slow down, spend time with your friends and your family at home. You're going to be fine. But if you start doing silly things like that, it gets out of hand. The Four of Swords is also a chance for you to start to kind of figure out what's important to you, again, in sort of a longer term plan. So I think you need to dream, rest, and reset in order to get perspective. I'm going to jump ahead to the environment card, because I think this is also important. We have the King of Swords. I like in this deck that he's a strategist. And what it's showing me is, again, we're kind of resetting the strategy, and you're going to take your time. That's really what the Four of Swords says. Don't rush it. Take your time and put in action something that will probably be, 1, 2, or 3 year plan. So start to think about what you want to do. Be direct. Don't be afraid to speak up. And basically with that plan, anything is possible. So really like this card. I like that it's in the environment. It's showing you this is what you should do. By the way, if you're bored, we actually have board games or getting back to basics. I think using your hands is important too. All right, let's get to the card that I was initially skipping past. So we have the Devil. It's in reverse. The interesting thing with this Devil card is it's actually kind of about going to extremes. So what I was just talking about, that's really what this is more about. We see people here that are just kind of, they've gone too far in any direction. So I would say for you, don't panic, don't work too hard, don't completely obliterate a schedule. I think it's important to have some sort of a sense of organization in your life. Devil reverse, though, is literally unshackling. So you have been freed from a cycle in your life. You are being encouraged to break something that doesn't need to be there anymore, a connection, a cord. Again, maybe it is even the job that you're working at. And when you spend a week or two away, you realize, I don't want to go back. I remember, it was my mom. She worked with someone once and asked, what was that moment where you decide? And she said, yeah, I took a vacation. And I realized I didn't want to come back from the vacation. So if you get to spend some time and you realize, you know what, that thing that I was doing, I don't want to do it anymore, because after having some time to just be with the people that I care about or be with myself, I realize that there's something bigger and better that I need. That's your North Star coming through. That's your soul saying, hey, I'm giving you your realignment. Pay attention now. Ace of Wands, something new on the horizon. We have one ace in reverse. We have one ace upright. Notice how she's taking her time to step across this bridge to something new. I really like this sort of imagery and the difference between the two. This is showing a lack of grounding, but this is also showing that you can go from that to a place of feeling better, being more grounded. So there's something in your life that no longer is giving you fulfillment. This can also be sort of like, if we look at almost like the act of consuming, eating, or filling your time. If pentacles are reversed, it means it's not enough. You're kind of trying to fill it with the wrong thing. So for some of you, it could be a shift in how you spend your money. For some of you, it's a diet change. For some of you, it's how you spend your time. So you get a chance to consume more wisely. And these resource cards can be taken however they need to be taken. So look at it in the sort of view of your life and decide, what do I need to shift my consumption with? And that'll make more sense. And then we have the Nine of Cups at the end, which is a great card. This is, many of you are missing that sense of happiness and celebration, and just know that this is still out there and there's still things to be grateful for. I think that one of the most important things you can do is, in your daily meditation or prayer practice, begin with a simple prayer of gratitude. Just say, thank you so much for allowing me to breathe, for allowing me to think clearly, to have food on my table, and to be able to make the most of this day. Whatever happens, this is a gift. That's a great way to start things. And then you can start to focus on what you need to change, what's scaring you, what's making you uncertain. But we can all be grateful for being alive. And that's what I'm trying to help today, is just kind of give us that sense that we can do this together. Let me take a quick drink here, and then we're going to expand the forecast looking at health, wealth, love, and destiny. All right, with the health card, I hit on this a little bit. And I talked about it actually when I was discussing the channeled message, when I said it would be good to get out into nature. So whatever gives you a sense of being grounded. For some of you, it could be something like, doing something practical, some people like numbers. And so getting in a spreadsheet, figuring out what your budget's going to look like, maybe that's it for you. For some of you, like for me, it has to be sort of artistic, like writing, or nature based. I need to somehow be connected to something that is kind of flowing energetically. A lot of us feel like right now our lives have been turned upside down. I want you to go back to when you were a kid and think of other things that you liked to do. Because sometimes what we've chosen as an adult isn't actually in alignment with what we wanted. So now that you have some time to reset, think about what that is. For the rest of you, this is also a chance to realize that you can kind of make the best of any situation. I'm looking at this, and again, I see a lot of similarities between the upright and the upside down tree. And so I feel like if you realize there's the same strength and structure, whether you're looking at it right side up or upside down, you're going to be fine. So I also spoke to the previous sign about repackaging. I think for you, it's about reimagining, because we have more of a dreamy High Priestess card. And I think some of you may have started to forget that you can always give yourself permission to say, you know what, I think I want to try something new. Or what if I did this? The what if ... kind of gives you a chance to explore possibilities. This is a perfect time to do that. So some of you are in a job that you don't like. When I look at the past and I look at your soul space, we have Ace of Pentacles and we have the Devil. They're both reversed, and that can show me that whatever's bringing in resources and abundance is out of necessity. This could also be doing something out of necessity or being tied to someone out of necessity. So you could be in a marriage, or you could be in some sort of business partnership or some sort of friendship. And what you want to break is this tie of obligation, because basically that's basically the book definition of conditional love, and you want unconditional, no strings attached. So work this month on getting your independence, however that may be, and sort of take your time. Remember, you are this sort of master strategist that we see here, this chess player. Think 1 or 2 moves ahead. Don't do anything too quickly, brash. You want to kind of take your time and think, I can do this. I'll do this because of this, because of this. So get that plan of attack created. You're going to be happy that you did it. The other things that are coming through clearly for health is that you have to take it easy. Take it easy. Don't give in to fear and uncertainty. Talk to a therapist if you need it. If you're someone that people turn to, then show up a little bit more now, because they need that as well. So these are the key things. The Devil also breaks addiction. We have the 9 of Cups. So this can show an addiction to substances, to alcohol, to other things. So you definitely want to be careful of that as well. Okay, let's look at wealth. We have equality, balance. Lilith is coming through here. We have the balance card here with temperance. There's 2 ways of looking at the temperance card. I was noticing earlier that she only had her kind of feet on the steps. If we look a little closer, you can see that there's a path ahead of her, and she's sort of figuring out when to move. And that's combining it as well with this sort of strategy card. So there's a necessary pause taking place. We didn't see the Hanged Man, but this whole spread could be symbolized by a hanged man, basically, which is pausing, thinking, gaining knowledge, and then figuring out what to do next and when to cut that cord. So again, with equality, some of you are fighting. This is a divine feminine energy here. So some of you are fighting for equality as a woman. It's actually something I've seen across a few signs, and good for you. Keep up that fight. It's something that's important. For the rest of us, we can be allies to people that are on that path. For the rest of us, just as a sign of balance, this is saying, hey, I've got to have some sort of work life and also satisfaction balance too. It can't just be, a means to an end. So passion has to play a part in this, satisfaction, sustainment, fulfillment, all of that. And as I look at opportunities here, it doesn't surprise me that your main finance card is in reverse. We're looking at a slowdown, but we don't see anything here that shows like, I didn't get anything like the 2 of Pentacles or 7 of Pentacles or anything like that, or even the 4. So I feel like it's just basically being conservative with how you're spending and strategizing for next steps. Okay, so I think it's okay with respect to that. But for some of you, a chance to start a new venture. Let's look at love now. This is really interesting. All right, so with this card, if you turn it in, there really is no upright position for this, but we notice that there's someone that is sort of speaking from their highest self. To me, that looks like the third eye, and it's kind of coming out of the throat. I mentioned that the throat chakra was a chance for you to kind of develop or experience something important this month. When it comes to relationships, I think you have to say what you see, if that makes sense. That's kind of what this card is showing. And it kind of, yeah, that's really the only sort of visual that I'm getting from that. So what I would say, if we look at it in respect to the other cards here, King of Swords reverse, being straightforward, not being cruel, but saying what needs to be done and not sort of putting too much of kid gloves on that. I think it's important to get the truth out there. Also, if there's something that is wrong, whether it's legally wrong, because we do have a temperance card that looks a little bit like justice to me, or whether you're just having a hard time taking on everything yourself, this card is really saying, I need you to show up 50-50. The relationship energy and love could be your partner, it could be a coworker or boss, it can also be someone in your life that you care about. So you want to take that thing that isn't working, the devil energy, get straight to the heart of it and say, no, that's not welcome here. Find the balance and move into a better sort of direction or trajectory. So you have to speak your mind. And now I understand why I said use your voice, because it came through pretty clearly there. So just say the truth, say it in a way that is both kind and direct, and I think you'll be in a better place. And as we look at destiny, destiny is leading you in a direction. If you like that direction, great. If not, you get to shift it a little bit, and that's what we see here. So this says mystic healer, healing energy flows through you. Remember, you have the ability to be in your sort of highest light. It's interesting that she wants to shine out. I can't kind of, there we go. It's almost like this card has energy in it. But what I want to kind of remind you is your thoughts are, they can either be creating something, so they can be creative or destructive. Let's let them be creative, and let's let them create the highest possible energy and focus on helping rather than hurting. So even though we got King of Swords reversed, I mean, guess what, Libra? That's you. There's nothing wrong with King of Swords or Queen of Swords. I expect it to come up when I'm looking at an air sign. This is just saying, be the best version of the King of Swords reversed. Be just, be direct, be helpful, be a strategist, and all of these things are going to help you through this month. And there may be someone in your life, I think this has to do with relationships and someone that isn't looking at what's true. So they're in denial. There could be someone that you really care about and they're doing something that doesn't make sense, or they're not willing to look at a truth. And so if that's something that you have to be the stronger person for them, let them lean on you. Also keep them accountable. And if there's someone, whether it's a child, a friend, or a parent, and they just can't see something, you're going to help them see it, but in a direct way, not a cruel way. I think that's the important thing, because I feel like there's a sense of helplessness with some people. So you don't want to push them too far. Just be strong and direct. Last thing, for those of you in relationships, the devil comes through. I didn't get the 3 of Cups. So I just think this has to do with accountability, honesty, and maybe having something come to the light of day that you need to deal with. Sometimes it can show a third party. But I think for many of you, it's just really trying to be honest with one another. So work on that. Some of the downtime that you have right now, I think it's important. Let's go ahead and review everything that we talked about. We're going to take it a step further after this and see, like, where can we shift, whether it's with work, whether it's with relationships or whatever. Where's the shifting going to happen? And then I'm going to help all of you heal and calm down, because I know there's a lot going on in the world, and I know some of you just showed up today for the meditation. So we'll make it count. We'll make it a little longer than usual. And okay, we'll go from there. All right, let me take another quick drink here, because I'm using my own throat chakra a lot, and then we'll go into all the messages here. All right, North Star. For me, it's much about guidance as it is about what we saw with the realignment that came through a little bit later. And I think that North Star is coming through to help give you direction. So many of us have been on a path that may not have been serving us. We have a chance now to speak up, to try to create a change. If you decide you want to do something different, here's the cool thing. You are someone that is powerful and able to manifest. The High Priestess, she's really great at working behind the scenes, and there's a little bit of magic within her. She comes right after the Magician in the Major Arcana anyway. She has a heightened kind of energy of that. So realize this is one of the best manifestation cards, and if there's something you want to change, talk to people in your life. Talk to your boss. Say, I'd like to try this instead of this. Talk to your partner and say, when I think we should explore something different, or whatever it is you want to do. Take an active part in this, and I think that you have more power than you realized. Friends, family, chosen family, community. This is where the focus is right now. And I think where the focus should be. We should be looking at how we connect with each other. Here in America, we had a similar situation go on, September 11th, where everyone had a chance to sort of reset, and all the nonsense that happens, in the months and years in between these big events, they seem not important when something big happens. Life now, today, every day, you need to be focusing on that, being present, and that's really the message here. And there are blessings that are going to come through whenever you can start to reconnect. Do what we're doing right now. There's no reason you can't Skype, FaceTime, Zoom, whatever. Choose your favorite way. Talk to people. Stay connected. It's important. Show up to these readings, even if it's not your sign. I'm here for you. Ace of Pentacles in reverse. Okay, this is really saying that it's time to figure out, do I like what I'm investing my resources, my time, my energy, my love into? If not, this whole month is all about reimagining, giving yourself a chance to dream. Also realizing that could take anywhere from 1 to 4 months, something that I've seen many indications of as I start to read for different signs. Find balance and basically take the first step. I did a meditation in yesterday's reading where we were kind of at a portal, and I had all of us look behind us and then look in front of us. This card has a lot of that energy too, but it's just a little bit different. It's a little more subtle. The water can also indicate deciding to walk away from pain or discomfort. For me, I always connect temperance with April. So it's really interesting that we're reading for the month of April. Usually the temperance card will have like flowers or crocuses or growth in it, because I just see it as a card of gentle renewal. So just know that it might take time, but you're going to get there. Rest, take your time. Know that anything that is worth doing usually takes a little bit of time to execute. I see a direct correlation between Four of Swords and King of Swords reversed. Strategizing and thinking 1 or 2 moves ahead, not rushing to that strategy, because that's why the devil is here. Impatience can kind of take you out of that ability to see to the future and make something happen. Accountability is important, and don't let some third party come in between you and someone that you love. If that happens, you guys have to kind of work through that. If there's someone in your life that is in a place of fear, either because of their health and well-being or because of what's going on a global scale, be the voice of reason, be the light in their life, and be the light in your own life. King of Swords, we talked about, this is really using your voice. For some of you, it could just be literally writing, painting, working with your hands, somehow executing vision. It's an action card, so take action. It's the ultimate action card as well. Ace of Wands, I like that this is the only deck that I've ever seen someone using the wand to kind of go from one place to another. And an idea can take you so far, and that's what we kind of see with this. You take your time, you balance, you don't rush. There's a big message here about balance. So I chose this deck probably for a reason for your sign. Stay balanced, take your time, keep your eye on where you're going, constantly realign with that North Star. Don't let your alignment go one direction or another. There will be a time and a place for celebration, but right now some of you are going to extremes. It can almost feel like bipolar. That's one of the energies of the Nine of Cups. It can be sort of like a roller coaster that goes so fast that you want to get sick. So don't go overboard in any sort of consumption or any sort of emotional energy. With health, we just talked about that. Grounding is really important. And also looking at something that you've been doing, was it giving you a sense of sort of like fulfillment? Because the fact that these roots are upside down tells me that something that you thought was actually keeping you stable, it wasn't doing the job that it needed to. So whether it's a relationship or a job or a way of being, this card is saying it's time to get a little bit more grounded. Watch your balance, by the way, since we have all of these balance cards and we have a card here showing grounding that's upside down. Watch where you're walking. This could also be, this was a long time ago for me. I think it was maybe 4 years ago or 5 years ago. I think, yeah, it was like 2015 or something. I just tripped on there was a sort of crack in the sidewalk, and I twisted an ankle. And sometimes things like this can just show some sort of a block in your way. You want to be fully present, and you can avoid that. For wealth, equality again, a diagonal here, it's all about balance. If something's out of balance, speak up, bring it in balance, step away from that codependency. Say what you see and say it with a sort of kindness and a directness, and I think you'll be okay. Choose to put yourself in a healing energy and a higher energy. Call on your angels and ascended masters. They will only come if you call on them, because they don't really need or want to interact or shift human life. So you need to sort of call them in and ask for guidance and assistance, and they'll be there to help. All right, let's take this to the next step, and let's look at what you can do to shift things. Because for those of you that figure out whatever this sort of issue is that you want to resolve, or for those of you that are trying to get onto the next path, I want to help you out now to see what you can do to get into that energy. So we'll look at past, present, and future influences for change, for renewal, for reinventing yourself. And then we're going to do a meditation for grounding, healing, and letting go of the stress. Let's look at the past. Okay, it's really important for you to, there are three messages, obviously, that are coming through with the strength card. I'm going to kind of break them down. The first one is take care of yourself. And you can do this. There's an inherent message with strength that you have the ability to move mountains if you want to. One thing that's interesting always with strength, though, is sometimes energy is being spent on someone that they just take so much of your time, your attention, and your focus that it can be like there's nothing left at the end of the day. So whether that is like a very high maintenance boss that is calling you after hours, is bugging you, or is kind of like a helicopter coming in and making sure that everything is done, you come home and it's all you can do to sort of like just eat and go to sleep. It can also be a partner that is kind of nagging and in the same sort of energy. It could be something else that's going on where you feel like, I have to keep trying to change this, but it doesn't want to be changed. Just because you have the strength doesn't mean you have to push in that direction. There's a domination energy that's in this. And if you notice, really sort of at the bottom here is the chains. Okay, there it's in focus. And look at how she's kind of chained this animal here. So normally in the devil card, you don't see it in this one, but there's chains at the bottom. You would see two lovers, you see the devil behind them, and you see the chains. So it's not necessarily about a love interest. It can be something else that's shackling you and that you've been able to manage because you're amazing, right? But is it worth it? Maybe not. When you step away from that, maybe that's what some of you are getting a chance to do right now. That energy, that situation, you have to kind of just now be separated from it. How do you feel? And if you still are around that person or that situation, try to remove yourself in meditation at the very least and think, get back to your own energy and think, who am I away from that? And why am I still doing it? So I feel like there's a chance to cut some sort of I would say, yeah, it's overwhelming energy that you're putting into trying to change something. If it doesn't shift, there's a reason, and you could probably move on, start something new, and be a heck of a lot happier. So letting go of someone or something that you're trying to control too much, or that has been trying to control you, and to reclaim your power. Because either way, you can get your power back. The strength card basically says you've always had the power, you're just using it in an unusual way. Otherwise, just focus on sleeping, eating well, and getting that health into a great place. But this is deep past, and I think it has to do with a core relationship. Strength can also be a mother in your life. So working on a better relationship with your mom or your dad is going to be really important. Justice reverse, walking away. And this is you, Libra, and you came through direct twice. So we have Knight of Swords reversed and Justice reversed. So it's very clear to me that when I was getting an activation on the throat chakra, it wasn't an accident. So pay attention to your words. Are they also in the highest sort of energy? Are you being accountable? Because if you haven't been, this is a month where that catches up with you. Also, if there's something that you need to sort of fix legally, if you're behind on taxes, if there's something going on and you owe someone money, get that balanced out this month, because that's slowing you down. That's your alignment issue. And that's kind of making that future opportunity that we see here not happen as fast as it can. realignment. Basically getting into your higher energy, your higher self, doing what's right. And if someone else needs to do what's right, then also get them into alignment. Get the help of a lawyer if you have to. Or, I was talking, North Star can be a therapist, a lawyer, someone that you really trust, someone that can bring you into that higher space. One other thing with Justice Reverse, it's just about saying no, letting go of something. No more, I don't want that. And following your heart. It's doing what's right. And if someone's doing something wrong, it's separating yourself from that. Okay, Three of Wands, really great card for the future. This shows me that as soon as you start to set your mind and your heart on what's important, you'll start to see some progress in that direction. We are looking, though, again, 3 months, 2 to 3 months, but you should start to see some indications now. So stay positive, stay focused, look at that. And look in the future. So I think for some of you, if you've never worked with like a visualization board or just kind of visualize in your meditation what it's like to be in that future state, that's going to be important. I'll try to do that a little bit today. There is a little bit of a sense of patience with Three of Wands, but you should start to get some sort of a return on whatever you're doing, and that can help you. This is what happens when you kind of let go of whatever has been tapping out your energy or your attention. So let's go ahead now and move into the meditation, something that I think is super important today. I think everyone should stick around if they can. If not, come back and listen to this when you have some time. But many of you are working from home, so no excuses today, right? Let's stick with this together and really try to bring energy into a higher space. So I'm just looking at all of this. I want to use the North Star imagery. I want to work on future visualization, and I want to work on unshackling and grounding us. There's a lot of little pieces. I'll try my best to bring them together. Let's first tune into our bodies. So get into a comfortably seated position. Before you get started, I want you to kind of take your hands and just give your shoulders a gentle massage, or if you prefer, you can move them up and back. And as you're doing this, imagine that you are sort of unwinding all the stress, all the tension, all the thoughts and energy people have been putting on your shoulders. For those of you that are teachers, are in the medical profession, are just a natural therapist where people tend to kind of lay this energy on you. As you sort of do this, feel like I'm letting it go. That's not mine. It's almost like you're unwinding yarn and letting all of that go. If your neck allows you to do it, you can gently move in one direction from right to left one time, gently, slowly, not too fast. And then you can go in the opposite direction. If you don't have a lot of movement, my neck is really stiff right now. You can also just kind of go to the left, to the right, let that go. And now let's close our eyes. Take a deep breath, listen to the sound of your breathing. I want you to focus on a nocturnal scene, nighttime. If you need to visualize it, I'm going to pull the North Star here for a moment. For those of you that have ever visited a city like San Francisco or been in a foggy place, imagine that there is a fog bank that's actually rolling away, not kind of rolling in. And as it starts to burn off a little bit, you see this beautiful moonbeam coming down. Silver light that is kind of shining down like this beam from heaven. And you're maybe at the pier looking at the water, and you see it reflecting on the water, reflecting on you, and creating this beautiful, gentle energy that's surrounding you. And I want you to kind of feel what the moonlight feels like. I know that sounds weird because we don't normally feel heat from the moon, but it does have a resonance. It does have an energy. What's nice about it is it's diffused. It's bouncing off one object onto another. And because of the reflection of the water, and because it literally is a reflection, it's going to allow you to look at your past. So close your eyes, but open your third eye and look into the moonbeam. And as you start to gaze into the moonbeam, I want you to look at your life. Imagine that you can kind of, for those of you that are old enough to remember it, those little viewfinders. If you're not, just think of like an Instagram story. But just imagine that there are these little moments that you're looking at through this beam that's actually kind of like a camera in your mind. And I want you to think of the first things that come to your mind. Is it work? Is it friends? Is it money? Is it the news? I want you to just kind of let these things go through and then take a deep breath and see the light get brighter and kind of drown those out for a moment. Now I want you to see yourself as a child, and I want you to move through the moonbeam until you're actually on the surface of the moon. Traveling from the planet, leaving your body on the planet, on the pier, sitting there. You can connect to it at any point. And travel through the moonbeam onto the moon's surface. And now see you as a child, a younger version of you. And have a conversation with your younger self, a telepathic conversation. I think the first thing that you want to extend to that younger self is a sense that it's going to be okay. And that you love whoever you were and whoever you are. And if you've never received that love from a parent, from a mother, from a father, take a moment right now and imagine that you're just kind of hugging this younger version of yourself. And whatever you didn't hear as a kid, I want you to send it to yourself. Mostly give yourself a sense that it's going to be okay. You're going to be safe. You're going to be okay. I love you. That's all that matters, is the self-love. And then I want you to take that energy of the inner child, pull it towards you, and then notice that it just melts gently within your heart space. Feel a sense of peace as you take the next breath. Let it go. And take this moment to look at the planet. You can see yourself as a little light, just like the North Star card that I showed earlier. Your heart, your soul, your energy is shining right back, just like the moonbeam. And you realize now that you can go back to your body through that beam. Take a moment now, though, to look at the cosmos around you. Look at the Earth, a beautiful blue-green globe that's spinning. Look at how small it is in comparison to everything else around you. The sun is enormous. The planets around you are bigger than you ever imagined. And the sky is filled with stars and a lot of space between the stars. And you realize now how vast this world is and how each and every one of us, our life is amazing, but sometimes we get too caught up in the moment, that there's a bigger picture. And as you slow down and take a breath and look at the cosmos around you, you realize now your place in the universe. Why did I come into this body during this time with the people that I chose as my family? What was my purpose, and how can I get back into that purpose? Some of you already know the answer. Some of you, the answer is going to come in the days and the weeks to come, but I want you to meditate on that. Remember what mattered as a kid. You now have that younger version of yourself melted into your heart space. Listen to your heart. There's a reason the Egyptians thought that was the seat of knowledge. It is. It doesn't lead us astray. Our brain can sometimes take us in the wrong direction, but our heart and our soul, it won't. Now go back down the moon, actually your soul beam. We traveled up the moonbeam. Now you're going to go back to your soul, traveling in that beacon of light, which looks like the star here. And I want you to gently kind of go through the beam of light. Feel how it's almost like going back home. You feel a sense of familiarity, a sense of safety, and a warmth, and feeling like it's okay. It's almost like stepping into the ocean on a warm day, and you have like a 70-degree ocean where it's warm, it's inviting. You're getting into that energy that feels like you've got this. So travel now down through that light into your third eye, and bring with you that sense of who you were, who you are, and what you're supposed to do on this planet. Looking at the cards that came through, if there's somebody in your life that you need to let go of, I want you to make a commitment to yourself, to your higher self, to your inner child, to your ascended masters, that it's time to let go. Who is representing the shackles that I see in the strength card? Who is representing the imbalance that I see in the devil card? What is not fulfilling you, as I see in the Ace of Pentacles reverse? You and you alone know what that is. Make a choice today to say no to it. The Justice card reverse. Bring balance back into your life. What do you want in place of that? Imagine, dream, think about it. Remember the Mystic Healing card here, this beautiful, gentle angel. You have the ability now to choose to create something lighter and brighter, so why not do it? I want you to hold that vision within your third eye, which has been upgraded in frequency because you traveled out of body and back into your body with this new version of yourself. I want you to listen to this healing bowl, the singing bowl, and allow for the third eye to open up further and to give you the vision to see through illusions. When we look at the moon is always there to help us see things that we don't need to see, don't want to see, or haven't had the ability to kind of walk into. This is going to unshackle you from that fear and bring you into the ability to just see it, walk through it. You're going to be able to see the path and have the guidance that you need in your life. If you're on headphones, turn your volume down a little bit. Otherwise, just enjoy this singing bowl. Before we finish, I want you to see where you want to go in the future. And imagine in this moment that you've already achieved your goal, that you can actually hear, feel, see, taste, and know what it's like to be in that future state. And I'll do a slightly shorter sort of singing bowl meditation with that, but really allow for that frequency to set into your body. And then we will wrap up. Take a moment to tune into your heart. See that it is now shining with that silver light of the moon. It's now a star in your own sky, in your own mind. You can lead yourself, you can lead others. Fear has no space, no home in your sort of spiritual body. You've moved beyond that. We've opened your third eye, so you're able to see the unseen. You're able to see through illusions. You're able to move beyond anything that brings you a sense of feeling not grounded. Take a moment and put your feet on the ground. Really plant them on the planet and say to yourself, I can handle this. I can take care of myself. I'm willing to stand up for what matters. I'm strong. Take your hands, rub them together. Feel the warmth and the heat in your energy. Stop for a moment and imagine that as you gently separate them, you can almost feel this ball of energy as you're starting to kind of experience your own psychic energy and your ability to heal. Take that energy, and if there's a part of your body that needs to be healed, you can move it to that. If you don't have any place in particular, you can just put the two hands over top of your heart again and give yourself gratitude for showing up today and really just being able to move through all the changes and the shifts that are going on in your life. Take a nice deep breath as you gently open your eyes. And welcome back, everybody. Thank you so much for being present today. I'm going to show up a little bit more frequently over the course of the next 2 weeks. So please do hit that subscribe button and opt into notifications. When I do the guided meditations, I will probably turn chat off because we should just be meditating. So I'll be doing a few of those over the next couple of weeks. There are 3 that I talked about doing, and then I'll do some other ones that are just impromptu. but I think I was going to do a morning ritual, evening ritual, connecting with your guides. And then I think we can do things like releasing fear, releasing pain, forgiving your someone in your life, whether it's a parent or someone that's wronged you, and kind of like releasing a contract. So whatever feels right over the next couple of weeks, I'll be showing up as I can. And join me if you haven't already, again, liking and subscribing. For those of you that have been kind enough to be doing the super chats, thank you. When the video is on replay, I will call you out in a little comment section, and I want to say thanks. If you want to find other ways to connect with me, everything actually is on my website, nicholasashbaugh.com. I know my moderators have put the links out there. Love for you to join me on Instagram. I post a bunch of pictures of my dog there, but I also really use the story function to help you remember when readings are coming up. You can join me on Twitter as well. I always tweet the day of and let you know that we're going live. And of course, Facebook, YouTube, and Patreon. My username is the same on all of these. It's Nicholas Ashbaugh. Patreon, and also clicking the join button here. That's a way to kind of like set and forget some sort of a contribution, and it really does make a difference. So thank you to any of you, even if it's as small as $1. I know we're all going through times right now where we have to be conservative, but that makes a big difference. And PayPal is another way you can do that. So I just want to say thank you again. And I love that we got this for your sign. I feel like you have the ability to see what you need to do, create that path, work on that, and focus on your inner light. Also just focus on people that bring light on this planet. There's a lot of other folks which cause kind of like you to get out of your space, and that's not helpful right now. I want to mention that I see at least one opportunity, really good opportunity on the horizon for you, but it's going to take a couple months to manifest. You can make it happen faster because you are a manifester, but I still see that there's some sort of patience, strategy, and cosmic timing that are coming into play. So be patient, be present, and welcome in that abundance in all forms, okay? Thanks again. Special thanks to my moderators. I noticed that there were some people doing some crazy stuff in chat, so please keep it relevant when we're doing chats. But to everyone else that showed up and was kind and supportive, thank you so much, especially for some of these last stickers that are coming in. From my heart to yours, I love you, I appreciate you, and I'm glad that you showed up today. And I will be here, try to show up once a day if I can. For my formal schedule, look at my website. It's nicholasashbaugh.com/live. All of the readings schedule is there. Also, again, on social media, I posted it. So join me across social media. Take care of yourselves. Take a deep breath today, okay? It's going to be all right. Thanks, guys. I'll see you again soon. Bye-bye.